This week, the Colorado Joint Budget Committee gave preliminary approval for $185 million that would fund the full-day kindergarten plan pushed by Governor Jared Polis. Members of the JBC were quick to point out that the number is a placeholder until the bill that would define the program is finalized. Wasting no time, Governor Polis helped announce the bill to utilize the funds on Friday morning. Natasha, this feels like Governor Polis getting his way, even though the JBC said, well, it's a placeholder, it's a maybe, it's a preliminary approval. It felt like on Friday morning, Governor Polis said, fantastic, we have everything ready to go, and we can just install it. Is Polis putting the cart before the horse?
Well, he did ask for a lot more, millions and millions more than what he got. So I'm sure there's some people could argue that restraint was shown in giving him this money. I mean, it would have been a political earthquake if they didn't get behind giving him support for this topic. It was his number one issue when he was campaigning, you know, his earliest speeches coming out and saying that this was a priority for him. I'm not surprised that they found the funds to make this happen. Now we get down to the business of what actually the budget's going to be like, and next week is going to be a very interesting week because, as you say, these are numbers that are penciled in. There's a lot of moving targets. There's already a lot of feedback on the money that has been penciled in for transportation and whether that's enough or not. There's going to be a lot of budget conversations in the next week.
Ian, what do you think about that in reference to other priorities? Full-day kindergarten was a major priority for Governor Polis, and I have nothing against kindergartners getting a better education.
Or any education
at all. But I drive on a lot of really lousy roads more often than I bump into kindergartners that need full-day kindergarten. What do you think how Coloradans are going to look at this priority?
I mean, what you're talking about is the artificial scarcity created by Tabor, right? I mean, we're a state that is unable to reach our full potential because we have this very stupid tax law that prevents us from growing according to our needs. People are flocking to the state. They're moving here in droves. The state and city have planned poorly for growth. I don't think there's another way to interpret that. But the fact is, like, we need more resources for the things we care about. Full-day kindergarten is something that is nearly universal. Everybody gets it. It becomes an equalizer. And we know for a fact that if kids are getting a strong education, the earlier the better, and then their chances for success later down the line to go to college, get a job, start the next great business, contribute to the economy, go up and up and up. So I think this is a popular idea, and I think it's smart to do it. But the problem is we are forced with a constitutional gun to our heads to have to choose between things that we ought not to have to choose between. We should be able to fully fund roads and K-12 and have a higher education system that isn't like laughably underfunded to the point where, like, I paid for my entire higher ed in New Jersey what one person pays for 1 year of in-state tuition at CU right now. We have huge challenges, and they're fiscal in nature, but government needs to prove to people that they're going to be responsible with the money. I don't discount what Dave said earlier about Ref C. The fact is that we have a chance here to bring in more revenue, to fund popular programs. If this Tabor, de-bruising cap thing passes, then the legislature and the government has to go and actually put the money where they say it's going to. If they do, that will generate more trust, and then we will be able to build programs that work for everybody. If not, it'll give people like Dave more talking points.
Patty, what do you think of Governor Polis's move of pouncing on the opportunity of a preliminary approval?
Well, I'm more concerned about you driving along potholes and hitting kindergartners, which is what it sounded like.
But he only does it once in a while.
Well, that's true. I have to say, this is a pretty hard thing to argue against as a greater good. You might disagree about climate change. You might disagree about some of the clean air actions, oil and gas. There are a lot of things Coloradans don't agree on, but educating kids and giving everyone an equal start in Colorado is a really good starting point for us all to talk about. It's what Polis ran on. He said he wanted to do it. He's pushing it through now. He's got a little leeway because if this plan to take the ballot measure to let us kind of debruce on keeping excess revenues and take care of some other forms of education on the roads works that way, he's going to have his money for 1 year of kindergarten. We're going to have a really smart group of 5-year-olds, and then who knows what will happen after that.
Good luck, 4-year-olds. David, wrap it up for us.
Well, the question was better education versus any education at all. And part of that is the choice in how this is structured. You can say we're going to force everybody to go to the government school only, some of which are very good, some of which are mediocre or less. I think the best approach is the Denver model for its pre-kindergarten program, where you can, if you want to go to a government school, that's okay. Or if you want to go to an independent school with the same amount of funding, that's okay too. It's better to let 100 flowers bloom and support diversity of education, because not all kids are the same and not all kids should be in the same kind of standardized system.